Freeway Ricky Ross grows up poor and illiterate in South Central LA. By the early 80s, he's a rising player in the drug game when he learns how to simplify the freebasing process by using baking soda instead of ether.
People would come and buy the powder, and they didn't have their cooking utensils. They didn't have the stuff to cook the powder. So the idea came to me to have it what we called Ready Rock.
All right, that's from the VH1 documentary Planet Rock, the history of crack and hip-hop. And that was Freeway Rick Ross, a cocaine kingpin who was so good at what he did, he would have cleared almost $1 billion in profits in today's dollars. He was running cocaine for the CIA to fund those Nicaraguan rebels, and he landed in prison until 2009 after his life sentence was reduced. He's a former one-man cartel. Freeway Rick Ross joins us. He's the author of the new book, Rick Ross, The Untold Autobiography, which is available to you right now on Amazon. Freeway Rick Ross, welcome. Your name's hard to say.
Thank you for having me here.
Do you hate the rapper whose name is Rick Ross because it gets confusing?
No, I don't hate him at all. I sued him, because that's business, and that's over with now, and I moved on with my life. Every now and then, somebody have me on a radio station, and we'll make a joke about it, but no, I have no ill feelings about him. I wish that one day we could sit down and really talk about everything.
Let me ask you this. You made hundreds of millions of dollars. Were you able to put any of that money away before you were put away? And are you a wealthy man, or are drug dealers just bad with money?
No, I don't have any money left. Once the government gets on you, and I had my own task force at one time. I think it was like 35 special cops that was out to track me down, and they turned out to be dirty. They stole money and planted drugs and just all kind of crazy stuff, and it cost me a lot of money. So at the end of the day, I got out of prison, I was broke, and had to start from scratch.
We talk to a lot of people about the drug war here on this program. It's not frequently that we actually have actual drug entrepreneurs or street entrepreneurs on the show who have some experience in the industry. What are your thoughts on the war on drugs in the United States as it stands today? It's a very expensive enterprise, has pretty far-reaching consequences both here in the United States and abroad. What do you think about it?
I think the war on drugs is a joke, the way it's being handled. It's people that's capitalizing on both sides. I was just cut off parole yesterday, as a matter of fact. So this is the first show that I've done that I'm totally a free man, that I can walk down the street now, and if a cop pulls up and asks me a question, I can tell him no if I want to. But at the end of the day, my judge made a valid point yesterday that my PO and the PO department wanted to continue to keep me on probation and parole, and I've been out 5 years, and they haven't been able to catch me doing anything or anything of that nature. So what's the purpose of them keeping me on for another year? And they argued rigorously continuously to keep me on parole because that pads their books. That makes their books look good. And I think that that's the way the whole war on drugs has been fought, as a way to pad books, as a way to go to the taxpayer and get billions and billions of dollars to build all these massive prisons to create jobs. And I think at the end of the day, it has been almost another form of slavery if you look at it, because of the people that they have in prison.
Some of us who are against prohibition of drugs make the argument that black markets are by definition violent, at the risk of putting you back in the crosshairs of your parole officers. Can you talk about the violence in the black market system of dealing drugs back when you were in the gang?
Well, what it does is the prohibition takes a product that's probably only worth 30, 40 bucks. A kilo of cocaine, if we didn't put this artificial value on it, it wouldn't be worth anything. The leaves grow wild in Colombia, and anybody over there with the knowledge can put it together. So now we take a thing that's worth 30 or 40 bucks, or maybe even not even worth anything. If we didn't have this artificial value on it, they might be paying people to cut it down and get rid of it, because there's no real value for it. But once we put this value on it and we turn it, when I first started selling cocaine, a kilo of cocaine was worth 100 grand. Well, who set that price? Somebody set a price, and people went along with it and created this great market for wealth. Because if it wouldn't have been money involved, I wouldn't have been in it at all. And that's the only reason I went in it, is for the money. And anytime that you have large sums of money where the people can't call the police, and you know, if they get robbed, they can't tell anybody that they got robbed. If they get kidnapped, they have to try to pay the ransom. That creates violence.
All right,
as well.
so Rick, last question. If drugs were completely legal today, would you still sell them?
I don't know. I mean, it would have to be a drug that's beneficial. I don't want to sell people something anymore that's not going to help them. You know, it would be like selling somebody a car and you knew the car wasn't any good, but just to sell the car and get rid of it for yourself. And I don't have that mentality. When I sold cocaine, I thought that cocaine was a party drug that made people happy and gave people something that they wanted. But now I know different, so it would definitely be hard for me to sell a drug, even if it was legal, that didn't have some benefits.
All right, Rick Ross, thank you very much.
Thank you.
He's the toughest nails.